What's up, cool people? Before we dive into the video, I just wanted to give a refresher on what I'm aiming for with this whole Abridged Bible series thing. Essentially, what I'm doing is trying to summarize the Bible using an actual verse or two from each chapter. I'm splitting it, by each book of the Bible for each, abridged video. And ultimately, the idea is that it'll all be together in one playlist then, so that you could have a somewhat quick summary of the entire Bible just back to back to back. I mean, it's still not the quickest, but it can't be said that it won't be faithful to the scripture because it's literally getting taken from the verses themselves. Alright, so I think that's enough explanation. Let's just hop right in. This is going to be Joshua Abridged. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Then Joshua secretly sent out 2 spies from the Israelite camp at Acacia Grove. He instructed them, scout out the land on the other side of the Jordan River, especially around Jericho. So the 2 men set out and came to the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there that night. I know the Lord has given you this land, she told them. We are all afraid of you. Everyone in the land is living in terror. It was the harvest season, and the Jordan was overflowing its banks. But as soon as the feet of the priests who were carrying the ark touched the water at the river's edge, the water above that point began backing up a great distance away at a town called Adam, which is near Zarethan. And the water below that point flowed on to the Dead Sea until the riverbed was dry. Then all the people crossed over near the town of Jericho. The people crossed the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month. Then they camped at Gilgal, just east of Jericho. It was there at Gilgal that Joshua piled up the 12 stones taken from the Jordan River. The very next day they began to eat unleavened bread and roasted grain harvested from the land. No manna appeared on the day they first ate from the crops of the land, and it was never seen again. So from that time on the Israelites ate from the crops of Canaan. Now the gates of Jericho were tightly shut because the people were afraid of the Israelites. No one was allowed to go out or in. When the people heard the sound of the ram's horns, they shouted as loud as they could. Suddenly, the walls of Jericho collapsed, and the Israelites charged straight into the town and captured it. But Israel violated the instructions about the things set apart for the Lord. A man named Achan had stolen some of these dedicated things, so the Lord was very angry with the Israelites. Achan was the son of Carmi, a descendant of Zimri, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah. Then Joshua said to Achan, Why have you brought this trouble upon us? The Lord will now bring trouble on you. And all the Israelites stoned Achan and his family and burned their bodies. Then the Lord said to Joshua, Do not be afraid or discouraged. Take all your fighting men and attack Ai, for I have given you the king of Ai, his people, his town, and his land. So the entire population of Ai, including men and women, was wiped out that day. 12,000 in all. Joshua called together the Gibeonites and said, Why did you lie to us? Why did you say that you live in a distant land when you live right here among us? May you be cursed. From now on you will always be servants who cut wood and carry water for the house of my God. On the day the Lord gave the Israelites victory over the Amorites, Joshua prayed to the Lord in front of all the people of Israel. He said, Let the sun stand still over Gibeon, and the moon over the valley of Aishalon. So Joshua conquered the whole region, the kings and people of the hill country, the Negev, the western foothills, and the mountain slopes. He completely destroyed everyone in the land, leaving no survivors, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had commanded. Joshua slaughtered all the other kings and their people, completely destroying them, just as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded. So Joshua took control of the entire land, just as the Lord had instructed Moses. He gave it to the people of Israel as their special possession, dividing the land among the tribes. So the land finally had rest from war. In all, 31 kings were defeated. When Joshua was an old man, the Lord said to him, You are growing old, and much land remains to be conquered. Include all this territory as Israel's possession when you divide the land among the 9 tribes and the half-tribe of Manasseh. A delegation from the tribe of Judah, led by Caleb son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, came to Joshua at Gilgal. Caleb said to Joshua, Remember what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, about you and me when we were at Kadesh Barnea. So Joshua blessed Caleb son of Jephunneh, and gave Hebron to him as his portion of land. The allotment for the clans of the tribe of Judah reached southward to the border of Edom, as far south as the wilderness of Zin. But the tribe of Judah could not drive out the Jebusites, who lived in the city of Jerusalem. So the Jebusites lived there among the people of Judah to this day. The allocation for the descendants of Joseph extended from the Jordan River near Jericho, east of the springs of Jericho, through the wilderness and into the hill country of Bethel. This was the homeland allocated to the families of Joseph's sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. But the descendants of Manasseh were unable to occupy these towns because the Canaanites were determined to stay in that region. Later, however, when the Israelites became strong enough, they forced the Canaanites to work as slaves, but they did not drive them out of the land. But there remained 7 tribes who had not yet been allotted their grants of land. After all the land was divided among the tribes, the Israelites gave a piece of land to Joshua as his allocation. Now tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge, as I instructed Moses. These cities were set apart for all Israelites, as well as the foreigners living among them. Anyone who accidentally killed another person could take refuge in one of these cities. In this way, they could escape being killed in revenge prior to standing trial before the local assembly. Then the leaders of the tribe of Levi came to consult with Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders of the other tribes of Israel. They came to them at Shiloh in the land of Canaan and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us towns to live in and pasture lands for our livestock." So the men of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh left the rest of Israel at Shiloh in the land of Canaan. They started the journey back to their own land of Gilead, the territory that belonged to them according to the Lord's command through Moses. "Soon I will die, going the way of everything on earth. Deep in your hearts you know that every promise of the Lord your God has come true. Not a single one has failed. But as surely as the Lord your God has given you the good things he promised, he will also bring disaster on you if you disobey him. He will completely destroy you from this good land he has given you." After this, Joshua son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. They buried him in the land he had been allocated, at Timnath-Serah in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gaash. Okay, so that was it. Hope you enjoyed the video or at least got something out of it. If you did, give the video a like. Maybe share it with others if you think it's a good idea and you might want to sort of spread the word about it, so to speak. I wouldn't necessarily consider this super helpful for like research purposes, but if you're wanting to get a quick summary of the book of Joshua, at least in this video, before we get too far into Judges, then I'd say it's at least decent enough for that, to give you sort of a background of what happened in the book of Joshua, at least from a broad viewpoint. And of course, I've done this with Genesis through Deuteronomy prior to this video, so if you're wanting to get up to speed on those 5 books, go ahead and watch those videos as well. I'll have the playlist somewhere in the end card or on like little corner card thing. There should be a couple of different ways to find that. So anyway, yeah, I'm still also doing the regular Bible study stuff. Live streams are currently on Thursday mornings, and I start off with Bible study for those. In the streams, I cover about 2 chapters because with the edited versions of those that have a little less of the possible like chat engagement and other like tangents that aren't so related to the verses, the edits come out on Mondays and Fridays. So if you're more of a, long watch type viewer who would rather go to the live streams, all well and good. I do those on Thursdays, but they stay archived on YouTube after that, indefinitely to my knowledge. And then, if you prefer the somewhat shorter, edited down versions, just going chapter by chapter, Like I said, those come out Mondays and Fridays. So, yeah. Multiple different ways to engage in Bible study, going through this together. And I will say, though, benefit to joining the live stream is if you're actually there live, you can leave your own comments in the chat, possibly engage in the discussion. Some of that does ultimately get included in the edited videos, especially if it's relevant to what's being discussed. But anyway, so yeah, multiple ways to keep up with things. And that's really all I'm going to say for now. I have a whole bunch of other things that I could plug relative to channel and goals and live streams and different things like that, but I figure I'll keep it directly relevant to Bible study at this point. You already came to watch an abridged video. I probably shouldn't carry on too much about other stuff at any significant length. So anyway, as I said before, like and share if you enjoyed the video. If you're wanting to keep up with more of this stuff, do make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get notifications if you're on YouTube. If you're seeing this over on Rumble, just give me a follow there. Either way, it should help you keep up with these videos as they get posted. Well, these videos, the actual edited Bible studies, all that kind of stuff. And then, if you have comments that you want to make sure you get out before, like, they slip your mind or whatever, and you don't want to wait for some live stream or anything like that, leave those down below in the comments section. Oh yeah, also don't forget to check the description for info on my social media pages and all that good stuff. So anyway, that's going to do it for now. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another video. But whatever the case is, till next time, stay cool, people.